Konnichiwa mina, this is Jesus Korean, you're watching PokeCast. On today's Game Boy Top 5, we'll be doing Driving the Arcade, which is a top 5 driving arcade games for the Game Boy. As always, there's rules. For number 1, it has to be in a driving list on GameFAQs. This is very important to help narrow down the list. Number 2, no Game Boy Color games allowed in this one. Once again, because we're just doing Game Boy, and it makes it easier for me. Number 3, arcade style. This has to be a game that is going for points in some way. Finally, a non-racing game. Basically, a game that it doesn't really matter about racing, it's all about the points. We'll start off with number 5. We have Out of Gas for, let's see, Out of Gas. This was released in 1982 by FCI Inc. This game was weird, but I found it very intriguing and a lot of fun to play. You're basically racing around to try and beat the time to get all the gas possible, because your wife has sent you out to get gas since you ran out of gas in your rocket. Yes, I'm not making this up. The game does get steadily harder, and then if you get hit by things, you will actually lose points on your timer. That's what makes it very interesting. I found myself enjoying this game just because of how gradually it gets harder. So I wasn't too disappointed to find this one. And with only really being 7 games that fell into this category of what I consider more of an arcade style driving, or I should say a driving game which focuses on points, this is one of them that really impressed me with what they were going for. And that's why this one's at the bottom of my list, because since it's not really 100% driving, it just made it fun to play a game which is considered driving by most, but uniquely different. And plus, I really like the controls. The graphics were really well done, and even the animation beginning of it added that much more touch of you feeling like, oh crap, I just messed up on something. Man, that is why this one is number 5, because of it being so unique. But yes, I have more on here that really screams recognition. So that is number 5. For number 4, we have Motocross Maniacs. This was released in '98 in Japan, in 1990 in the US and Europe. This is of course done by Konami, and as you can see on the video, it plays very similar to Excitebike. That's what made this one catch my eye and wanted to continue to play this one. For this one, you basically go until you run out of time, or crash badly like me. You get to pick up nitro, and you get to also pick up different things to help you out. The biggest ones are you want to pick up the T to increase time, that way you know how much you actually have to do. And then you just basically keep on going until you run out. And it gets harder and harder and harder. Of course, I glitched here, so it wasn't very fair. There's always has to be that fun little glitch. But I found this game to be really enjoyable, because you get to go out and enjoy a style of racing which already was nice. They just took it to the extra mile. What if in this game you could do this? And I just stopped because I was letting the timer run out. This one goes to number 4 just because, well, if I'm going to play Excitebike, then I'd rather play Excitebike. Even though this is the only version of Excitebike on the Game Boy that we could play. And that's why I found myself intrigued in going for this one. But still, there are better games on the Game Boy that make you want to play an arcade style game. So that's why this one is only at number 4. The next one is definitely one that I enjoy. Coming in at number 3, you have Super Chase HQ. This is a game that is definitely inspired by an arcade game by Midway. I just forget what it's called, unless it's the same game. Probably not. But this is a Super Chase HQ released back in '94. And this game, you're basically given a description, and you have to race to find them. You have a timer that you have to beat. So basically, you gotta go as fast as possible, picking up time, picking up all kinds of things to try and find the person you're after. And then you have to crash into him and take down his damage. So that damage right there is actually not yours. Is the suspect. I found myself really enjoying this game. The graphics, as you can see, are not bad for the concept, and it works. With everything you have up there, it gives you all this information that you need, even though it does seem a little much. But the gameplay itself felt like exactly what it's supposed to be like. You get the driving elements into it, and you get to have fun trying to take down as many of these guys as you can before the timer runs out. And yeah, I mean, I think I got to take down 3 of them, I believe, during the footage I was filming. And I really enjoyed just going out there doing this. Like, there he is. So now the whole point is I have to try to keep up with him and take him out. And I found this extremely enjoyable. And that is why it is number 3 of the list, because it's a game I could see myself continuing to play. But it's still only number 3. So what could be better than this? Well, coming in at number 2, this is Head On, or also known in Europe and America as Power Racer. This was released in 1990 in the US and Japan, and 91 in Europe. This is basically Pac-Man meets race cars. It is even multiplayer as well, and the whole point is, well, like I said, Pac-Man. You actually have to go through and try and collect everything. This game is just complete chaos. Of course, this is the hardest difficulty because it's no fun if you do the easier ones right off the bat. And this game can just be like grr. It just wants to kill you repeatedly. So yeah, here are a little easier. Let's try number 5. Let's see how number 5 is. Nope, the game still wants to kill you because it enjoys it. But since I've been a huge fan of Pac-Man, I like seeing what other games are out there, and then also I'm a huge fan of Connections, I think it's called, for the NES. The game where you have to light up all of the tiles while you're driving around in a little car, dodging the police and all that. And that's probably why I found this one so entertaining, is because of, well, why not just make it Pac-Man-ish instead? And, if this is one of the games that, honestly, I would just spend countless times just trying to level up my score. And that's why I consider this number 2 on my list for arcade style, because this is truly an arcade style racing game. Just absolutely phenomenal. One of those I can recommend to try out. But still, this is not the best one. This is only number 2. So what can be the best arcade style racing game? Well, without a doubt, Dead Heat Scrabble. This game was released in 1990, and this game is just a ball. I found myself playing this game, and just phenomenal. There's a huge map you actually have to play on, and the whole purpose is just try to beat the world that you're in. Meanwhile, you're collecting time, you're trying to get to the finish line, you're getting points, dodging, jumping, I mean, you name it, everything happens in this game. And there's so much chaos in here that this is the best driving arcade game for the Game Boy because of all the stuff that it does in there. It has that brutality that only an arcade style game could give you, and a driving that just really screams, you think you're good at arcade? Play me. And that's exactly what this game does. And also the game is pure evil. I think this is the scene that literally I was a millisecond off from passing the finish line. And the game is like, nope, that millisecond you needed. And then laughed hysterically at me. But regardless of how evil the game is, the fun factor in this game was off the charts. It's the type of game where you can just sit down, play it, and just enjoy the game. And yeah, right there. Still burns, but you'd be able to actually hand it over to a friend. Can you do this? And right there's the map. You have to actually beat every single one in there. If that doesn't scream arcade, I don't know what does. And that is why this is the #1 driving arcade style game. That just tells you that I am arcade, not just a racing game. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what the top 5 driving arcade games are for the Game Boy. And as a help to remember which ones they were, here they all are again. Dead Heat Scramble at #1, Head On or Power Racer #2, Super Chase #3, Motocross Maniacs at #4, and Out of Gas #5. If you're looking for some fun games to try out these 5 because they're some of the best you can get. Tisashara say ciao and sayonara.